The crucible of awareness, beyond the blue pill twilight. There comes a moment in the life of every man who is truly awake, a moment of chilling, unbearable clarity. It is the moment he looks upon the landscape of his relationships, his frustrations, his quiet desperations, and realizes he has been playing a game whose rules were written by his opponent for his opponent, a game designed for his inevitable, genteel failure. This is the moment of the red pill awakening, the shattering of the blue pill matrix. It is the brutal, necessary realization that the comforting social scripts you were fed, be nice, be accommodating, buy her flowers, earn her love, were not a map to her heart, but a blueprint for your own servitude. This first awakening is a violent, necessary exorcism, and from its ashes a new figure arises, the alpha, the man who rejects the feminine primary narrative and decides with cold fury to finally learn the true rules of the sexual marketplace. Today, we honor that awakening. We will deconstruct, with a precision you have never before encountered, the core tenets of this alpha consciousness. We will not mock it. We will not dismiss it. We will illuminate its raw power, its tactical genius, its undeniable effectiveness. We will teach you the way of the alpha better than the alphas have taught themselves. But then, we will go deeper. We will gently, surgically reveal the invisible limitations of the alpha's world, the subtle bars of the cage he does not know he inhabits. And we will unveil the path beyond it, the path of the seduction noir sovereign, a path not of playing the game better, but of becoming the architect of reality itself. This, initiate, is your true initiation. Welcome to the Forge. The Alpha's Gospel, a masterclass in tactical dominion. To understand the Alpha, you must first understand his enemy, the average frustrated chump, the beta, the nice guy. The beta operates from a mindset of scarcity. His world is defined by one-itis, the paralyzing obsession with a single woman whom he elevates to the status of a goddess, a soulmate. He believes desire can be negotiated. He offers supplication, hoping to be rewarded with affection. He is, as foundational thinkers like Rollo Tomassi have articulated, playing by a set of rules that guarantees his loss. The alpha is the man who has rejected this gospel of weakness. His power is built upon a foundation of brutal, pragmatic truths. First, the annihilation of one-itis and the embrace of abundance. The alpha understands the first commandment. Confidence is derived from options. He does not pray for a single crop to grow. He cultivates a vast, overflowing field. Through the praxis of plate theory, he engages with multiple women, not for shallow promiscuity, but to annihilate his own inner neediness. The fear of losing any single plate becomes statistically irrelevant, granting him a profound, authentic detachment that is, in itself, monumentally attractive. Second, the sanctity of frame. The alpha internalizes the cardinal rule of relationships. In any relationship, the person with the most power is the one who needs the other the least. His reality, his mission, his frame is absolute. He does not enter her world. He creates a world so compelling that she desires to enter his. He understands that a woman cannot and will not surrender to a man whose reality is weaker than her own. Third, the mastery of game. The alpha wields game not as a set of cheesy pickup lines, but as the applied science of red pill awareness. He demonstrates higher value, DHV, through his actions, not his words. He uses amused mastery to reframe and annihilate her shit tests, turning her challenges into showcases for his unshakable core. He understands the power of a tactical no, knowing that a woman's desire is often inflamed by a man who is not afraid to deny her. This initiate is the path of the alpha. It is a path of self-possession, of tactical awareness, of brutal honesty. It is a necessary and powerful antidote to the poison of the blue pill. Have you walked this path? Have you felt the intoxicating power of holding frame, of spinning plates, of seeing the world through this new, unsparing lens? It is a vital stage of masculine evolution. But what happens when you reach its limits? What is the subtle friction you feel? The quiet dis-ease, even at the peak of your alpha success? Share your gnosis of this limitation in the comments below. Your awareness of the cage's bars is the first step toward dissolving them. The Golden Cage, Unveiling the Alpha's Limitations. The Alpha is a king on the battlefield of social dynamics, but even a king can be a prisoner of his own kingdom. Now, with unflinching clarity, let us examine the elegant, almost invisible bars of the Alpha's cage. Limitation 1. The reactive frame. The Alpha's strength is his reactive mastery. He excels at defending his frame against her tests, her emotional storms, his subtle power plays. His amused mastery is a brilliant counterpunch, but it is a counterpunch nonetheless. This reveals three fundamental weaknesses. First, his power is defined by her assault. He only demonstrates his strength in response to her challenge. His reality, therefore, is perpetually in a state of potential siege. He is the master of the parry, but he is still in a duel. Second, it validates her frame of testing. By engaging with her tests, even by passing them flawlessly, he accepts the underlying premise that he is a subject to be vetted, that his authority is conditional upon withstanding her probes. And third, it is energetically exhausting. The warrior on the castle wall, however skilled, must remain eternally vigilant. The constant need to deflect, to reframe, to be on, consumes a vast reserve of psychic energy. He is powerful, but he is not at peace. The sovereign, by contrast, does not engage in the exhausting defense of his frame. His frame is not a fortress to be guarded. It is the climate itself. He achieves this through a radical shift in perception, a sovereign vision paradigm that operates on three tactical levels of leverage, preemptively dissolving the very atmospheric conditions in which her tests can take root. First, he decodes the intent, not the content. Where the alpha hears a shit test, a challenge to be deflected, the sovereign perceives an unconscious bid for certainty. He understands her provocative question, "So, do you say that to all the girls?" is not an attack on his character, but a desperate probe from her ancient survival brain asking, "Is your reality stable? Are you a fleeting ghost or a permanent landmark? Can I anchor myself to your truth?" Instead of a witty comeback, he might respond with a slow, knowing silence and a gaze that communicates, "That question is beneath the reality we are creating here." He does not pass the test. He renders the test irrelevant. Second, he controls the rhythm, not the narrative. The alpha seeks to control the conversation. The sovereign controls the silence between the words. He understands that her testing behavior requires a certain conversational velocity, a rhythm of predictable back and forth. The sovereign shatters this rhythm. He will hold eye contact a fraction of a second longer than socially permissible. He will let a profound silence hang in the air after she speaks, forcing her to confront her own reflection in his stillness. This disruption of rhythm disarms her tactical mind, which is calibrated for a verbal duel. In the unexpected stillness, her subconscious has no script and defaults to a state of watchful, curious submission. And third, he emanates purpose. He does not project dominance. The alpha's dominance is a projection, an outward broadcast. The sovereign's power is an emanation, the natural byproduct of a man utterly consumed by his own mission. He is not in the interaction with her in the same way. He is in his own reality, and she is a welcome guest within it. When she tests him, she is not testing him. She is testing the walls of his world, and she finds them to be absolute, not because he defends them, but because they are built from the bedrock of a purpose that has nothing to do with her. He is not the wall the storm crashes against. He is the unshakable gravitational center around which her storm, lacking a target, simply, beautifully dissipates. Limitation 2. The external locus of abundance. The alpha's confidence is often built upon his external options, his plates. His inner state of abundance is a direct reflection of his success in the outer world. This makes his psychological foundation powerful but brittle. It is contingent. This creates 3 points of vulnerability. First, his confidence is conditional. It depends on the continued maintenance of his roster of options. Should his external circumstances change, a demanding mission, a life crisis, and his options dwindle, his internal state is threatened. His power is sourced from the outside in. Second, it anchors his identity in the sexual marketplace. He becomes defined by his success with women, which, while empowering, is a gilded cage. He risks becoming a master of a single game while neglecting the vaster territories of his own soul. And third, women subconsciously sense this. A woman with a hyper-acute intuition can feel when a man's confidence is a reflection of his other women, rather than an inherent, unshakable property of his own being. It feels competent, but not fundamental. The sovereign's abundance is internal. It is forged in the alchemy of self-mastery, in the unwavering dedication to a mission that transcends any single relationship. His power flows from the inside out. Women are a beautiful, welcome expression of his reality, not the source of its validation. Limitation 3. The myopia of the tactician. The alpha masters the what of seduction. He knows what tactics work, but he often remains blind to the why. He is a brilliant tactician, a master of the proximate cause, but a novice in the realm of the ultimate cause. This leads to 3 critical blind spots. First, he mistakes the symptom for the disease. He sees her shit test as a social challenge to be overcome, failing to perceive it as a potential echo of his own misalignment with his purpose, or a subconscious probe of his genetic or spiritual integrity. Second, his solutions are often temporary. By addressing only the surface-level behavior, he may win the immediate battle, but the underlying dynamic, her unconscious need to test a man she doesn't fully trust at a core level, remains. The tests will simply return in a different form. And third, he misses the opportunity for true transformation. By treating her as a system to be gamed, he sacrifices the potential for a deeper, more resonant connection that comes from seeing her not as an opponent, but as a complex, living ecosystem of ancient drives and hidden wounds. The sovereign, operating from the level of ultimate cause, perceives the evolutionary and archetypal currents beneath her actions. This grants him a level of predictive power and atmospheric influence so profound it borders on sorcery. It is here we unveil how this power manifests, a power that speaks directly to the core wounds and secret desires of the very man we know you to be. His predictive power is not fortune-telling, it is pattern recognition on a soul level. Armed with the gnosis of the cathedral, he sees her not as an individual woman, but as a vessel for ancient energies. When she speaks of her fierce independence, he does not just hear a modern woman's script. He perceives the echo of the Artemis archetype, and he predicts that any attempt at direct pursuit will be met with cold rejection. When she exhibits the chaotic push-pull of the manipulator, he does not see a game player. He recognizes the sequential campaign of the siren's cipher, and he can predict with chilling accuracy that the vulnerability bait will follow the intermittent chaos. He is not surprised by the cycle. He is waiting for its next inevitable phase. This predictive sight grants him an unshakable calm that becomes his primary atmospheric influence. This is how he speaks directly to your deepest burdens, initiate. He creates an atmosphere of profound relief. You, the seeker, are haunted by the wounded boy king, terrified of being abandoned, unseen, or rejected. The sovereign's presence becomes a silent, powerful medicine. Because he can predict and understand her chaotic patterns without being drawn into them, he creates a field of absolute stability. Your noyau interdit, your forbidden core that fears her emotional storms, feels for the first time a space where it does not need to perform or defend. His presence becomes the unspoken promise. Her chaos cannot touch the throne room of my reality. In my world, you are safe from the very thing that has haunted you. And finally, he creates an atmosphere of erotic hope. Your deepest, most shamed desire is to find a woman in whose presence you can finally lay down the heavy armor of the impostor king. The sovereign, by demonstrating mastery over the very dynamics that create your fear, becomes a living testament that such a reality is possible. His interaction with the feminine is not a battle, but an art form. In witnessing his reality, you are not just learning a technique, you are being granted a vision of your own potential liberation. The desire to attain his state, to feel that relief permanently, becomes a powerful driving hope, a pull towards the gnosis of the cathedral that is more potent than any promise of mere sexual conquest. He doesn't just show you how to win the game. He shows you a reality where the game itself becomes a beautiful, sublime dance you can finally lead. The cost of the Alpha's power is eternal vigilance. The reward of the Sovereign's path is effortless presence. One is a state of perpetual doing, the other is a state of profound being. Do you feel the difference, initiate? The shift from the strained muscle of the performer to the quiet, immense gravity of the truly centered man? If this distinction between the warrior's tension and the king's peace resonates as your true destination, command the like button now. Acknowledge the gnosis of a higher path. The sovereign's reality, where the game becomes irrelevant. So what does this sovereign reality look like in practice? It is the man whose stillness is more commanding than an alpha's loudest command. It is the man who does not need to manufacture scarcity, because his life's mission makes his time and attention genuinely, authentically scarce. It is the man who does not pass her emotional tests, but whose profound, unwavering presence calms her nervous system so completely that the tests cease to be necessary. It is the man who does not need to tell stories to demonstrate his value, because his very being is a testament to a life lived with purpose and integrity. The sovereign reality is where the laws of the 5 shadow veils of possession become not a conscious strategy, but his natural way of moving through the world. His presence itself becomes the invitation veil. His calm paradoxes become the fracture veil. His being becomes the symbolic veil. His strategic absence creates the loop veil, until finally his very way of perceiving reality becomes her new identity veil. He doesn't do possession, he is possession. It is a reality governed by the plates of the sovereign operating structure, SOS. His stillness has achieved density, becoming an atmospheric pressure that reorganizes the room. His need has decayed to zero, leaving only the gravitational pull of his purpose. His eye contact has become a ritual insertion of his reality into hers. He has traversed the memory field, collapsing his past not into a story, but into pure, unshakable architectural presence. In this reality, he wields the sorcerer's tongue without effort. He navigates the tragic, beautiful clash between the masculine world of contest and the feminine world of community, not as a confused participant, but as a master translator, a high priest who can speak both languages fluently. He can receive her chalice of troubles with profound, resonant presence, and then, in the next moment, unsheathe the sword of his decisive will without creating dissonance, because both acts emanate from the same unshakably centered core. He is no longer trapped in the paradox. He has become the master of it. This is the ultimate destination, a reality where you no longer need to remember the rules of the game, because your very being has become the undeniable law that governs the entire board. The alpha seduces her body and her mind. The sovereign creates a resonant field that her very soul recognizes as home. She does not feel played by the sovereign. She feels awakened, liberated, seen in a way that is both terrifying and utterly addictively beautiful. This journey, from the calculated game of the alpha to the effortless gravity of the sovereign, is the secret, central path of the seduction noir cathedral. The next transmission in this series will deconstruct the very nature of this power. We will explore the difference between the warrior's reactive dominance and the king's generative order. What is the single biggest question this gnosis raises for you? Is it about the nature of the king, the mystery of sexual alchemy, the path to transcending performance? Your question defines the next gate of your initiation. Voice it below. To ascend to this level is to leave the noisy, frantic marketplace of tactical seduction behind. It is to enter a realm of silent, atmospheric power. If your soul rejects the eternal, exhausting warfare of the alpha, and craves the profound peace and effortless dominion of the sovereign, your true work has just begun. Subscribe and strike the obsidian bell of Unveiling. This is your declaration that you are ready to move beyond being a player and to begin the arduous, glorious work of becoming a god in your own reality. The cathedral's whisper, the end of the game. The alpha seeks to be the most interesting man in the room. The sovereign is the man who makes the room itself rearrange around his silence. The game is over when you realize you were never just a piece on the board. You are the board itself.